Today on this Honda Pioneer 1000, we're going to be installing 3 DEI products. One is going to be our auxiliary fan kit. The second is our under seat heat shield, and third is the rear footwell heat protection as well. So 3 different parts to help make this ride cool, quiet, and comfortable for your summer riding. Let's get started. So we were getting calls from Honda owners with the main area complaint being the bottom seat gets really warm, this back panel gets really warm, and there was a lot of heat coming up from the engine compartment. This is a mid-engine mount vehicle, and so essentially the cylinder head and header system is literally right behind the seat, and any sort of period of slow riding or towing or a max capacity rock crawling, you just get this pocket, this cavity of heat that just comes up and cooks the passenger, and in particular anybody riding in the middle. So we're going to solve that with our stuff today. So one of the other complaints we got, in addition to the cab heat, was anybody riding in the back in the passenger area would get, in the footwell area, would get really warm. So we've got a kit that's going to take care of that problem area as well. That way when people are riding in the back, they're not burning their feet off. So to get started, we're going to start by removing the bottom seat pad, as well as this panel part here, this mid panel here, and the rear seat as well, seat back. For getting the bottom seat cushion off, we want to remove the rear seat cushion, the backrest. So in order to do that, we'll need to lift the bed and to gain access to the back of the bolts. So to remove this back cushion, you get it's a 10mm socket, and I'm using an extension here to make it a little easier. And there's 4 of them across the back here. Like most UTVs, Honda uses a plastic rivet to hold in the body panels in place. And so to remove this back body panel, as well as some of the other body panels that we're going to be removing, it's held in by these plastic rivets. And the middle, or the top part, comes right out, and you want to use either a plastic body tool or even a flat blade screwdriver, and you want to take your time. They can be a little fussy, but you just work it a little bit and you pop up the top. You see how it comes up like that? That piece comes out, and you kind of come in and work it, and it flips right out like that. So when removing this panel, you'll want to kind of jimmy it loose here. You want to be cognizant of the seat belt. So you want to come out this way with it. And you kind of bend it a little bit, and kind of fuss it a little bit, and it comes right out, giving you access to the entire engine bay area. So we've got the bottom cushion, the back cushion, and the body panel all removed. And as you can see in here, this gives us access to the engine, the cylinder head, and the exhaust system. So what you have is you have again a mid-engine mount plus the transmission. You get a lot of heat that's building up. There's not a lot of airflow in this area, so it tends to radiate heat upwards. And all you have is just that thin piece of plastic blocking the cylinder head as well as the header. And as you see, most of the complaints that people have is right in this center area here as you're sitting here, again, in any sort of slow-moving situation. So with the fan kit, this is the ductwork that's included. You get 2 couplers, one on either side of the flex line, as well as the duct exit and hose clamps in which to secure it. So this just pulls out and expands. The coupler screws on the end, and you'll screw that on either side, and then shape it into place. And then the other end, the duct exit on the other side, the duct exit goes in. So this is the assembled duct exit system that will be included in your fan kit. As you can see, you've got the 2 included hose clamps as well as the couplers, and then this small piece is the duct exit that once you drill the hole in the floor, this is where you'll attach the duct exit to. Also included, and how you'll fix that, is these plastic rivets, and you'll come up from the bottom of the floor into the duct exit when you secure it, and that will hold the duct exit to the floor in place. If you don't have a rivet gun, that's okay. Here's a neat little trick to get you past that. Just find a small box end wrench. We're using a 5/16 here, and along with a pair of pliers. And so by holding these two in place and pulling on the pliers, you can then activate the rivet into position. One of the things that we need to do is we need to make a hole through the skid plate for the heat to escape through with the high output fan kit. We'll locate the exhaust duct down here next to the drive shaft and the shifter, but you want to make sure to leave plenty of clearance as you line this up. Now we're going to have to drill a 3-inch hole to evacuate the hot air. Easy way to do that is to try and find the center, make a mark with a Sharpie, and that'll give us a mark that we need so we can center on. Don't worry about being too accurate with your pilot hole. There's a lot of area there, so just as long as, again, the duct is centered away from the shifter and the drive shaft and you're not interfering with those things, you'll be fine. So we have a 3-inch hole saw. Come in and line it up, and we'll drill from there. So press the duct into place, and from there we're going to move on to installing the wire harness. So we need to run power to our fan system and our control unit. So on the Honda Pioneer, the battery is actually located in the front underneath the hood of the vehicle. So there's two ways that you can do this. One is connecting directly to the battery. We do include a fused connector or connection here. You can do it this way, or you can also, another option is to use a posi-tap connector. This is an option, and you can tap right into the 15 amp ACC wire. And in fact, Honda, when they on all their genuine accessories, they have you tap into this. This is a keyed switch, so meaning when the key is turned off, there's no power going to this. So either way to do it, ours is being controlled. Our fan system is being controlled by a separate unit, as well as it's fused as well. So in terms of worried about running your battery down, the fan's not going to run once the temperature drops to the appropriate level. So included in the fan kit is the programmable thermostat, and this little guy we can mount on the dash. Looking around, I mean, there's a handful of different places. We're going to include enough wire in every kit to mount anywhere you want. I noticed a lot of customers are making their own panels up here if they don't have a radio. There's a Honda genuine accessory with the space down here. Another area is we would recommend is perhaps over here on this side. There's plenty of space, and anywhere you want. It just depends. That's a personal preference thing, depending on what you feel most comfortable with. Again, we're going to include enough wire in every kit to mount in one of those places. It will require drilling a square, drilling a couple holes, and feeding this in the dash. But again, that's up to the customer what they want to do, and there'll be plenty of wire in which to do that. So from there, let's run our accessory leads from the switch all the way back to the fan system. So once you've decided on your location for the programmable thermostat, then it just we just need to run the accessory leads all the way back to this system. So from there we'll run power, and then again that can be fed. For example, say we're going to mount it next to the steering wheel here. The power lead can be ran underneath here. There's a lot of space in this dash, so it's pretty easy. So that would run over there. From there, we need to run the leads all the way back to the fan in the engine compartment area. So we found the easiest way to run the power back to the fan is actually just down through the through the dashboard here. And so we'll feed this down. So it makes it a little bit easier. You don't have to take a bunch of stuff apart. Honda was nice enough to include a little accessory door here, a trap door, to give access, and so you can feed your power line and your thermostat line down, and pull it through here. And then what you want to do from there is feed it underneath your transmission tunnel here, or your drive shaft tunnel, back to the fan area. So we ran the leads underneath the drive tunnel and along upside here along the air intake, and ran along with these wires here. This would be real nice because we could just zip tie right to the existing wire loom and plug in right down here once we install the fan and the thermostat. Now it's time to install the fan bracket, but before we can install the fan with the bracket, we have to drill one extra hole. So go ahead and remove the 10mm bolt from the existing heat shield, and we'll slide this in position. And we'll go ahead and, you don't have to tighten this down, but we'll use this as a locator. So go ahead and reinstall this bolt back there. So we've got the fan mount installed with the top bolt, and we've left this loose so we can rotate it around. You want to align this vertically and then come down here to the back side with a Sharpie, and you want to mark where we're going to drill the hole. And there's not a lot of room here, so we'll go ahead, since it's loose, we can rotate this bracket out of the way and then come in with the drill. Let's drill the second hole for the second mounting position. Once you have the second hole drilled, you can then install the nut, the washer, and the bolt through there, securing the second mounting location, and then tighten both of them up. So we've got our fan bracket installed. Now we can go ahead and install the fan. The one thing you want to do is make sure that the fan is facing the correct direction. So with the you want the black fan blade actually facing towards the heat source, and the wires coming out the back side. And if you forget that, there's actually a small arrow here that points out the airflow direction. So if you get kind of lost in the installation, you can always reference that as well. So we've installed the fan bracket, and the ductwork at this point. We're just going to go ahead and install the final hose clamp to keep everything secure. So we mounted the fan and the fan bracket and all the ductwork. Now we're going to move on to the thermal probe. This is what actually activates the thermostat and turns the fan on. So in this vehicle, we found that you're going to want to mount right here along the air duct. And this is just secure with a zip tie. So now we've got our thermal probe installed. Now we can go ahead and finish up the installation. We'll go ahead and plug in our fan using our weather pack connectors. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and secure these down with a few more zip ties. They'll be nice and snug, out of the way, and secure. So now that we've got the fan and everything all mounted up, I went ahead and just quickly mounted the head unit just to double check that we're getting proper temperature readings. Real straightforward, real simple. You got 3 simple wires. One goes to fan, one goes to power, and one goes to thermal. Real easy to program. You just hold the button down. And for complete instructions, you know, you can always go back to DEIpowersports.com and double check the instructions, refer back to them. And so first off, you're going to do set in Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then you can set your temperature from there all the way up to 200 degrees. And this is where you're setting what temperature the fan turns on at. So one of the other complaints we got, in addition to the cab heat, was anybody riding in the back in the passenger area would get, in the footwell area, would get really warm. So we've got a kit that's going to take care of that problem area as well. That way when people are riding in the back, they're not burning their feet off. So in order to install the rear footwell kit, we have to remove 3 more pieces of bodywork. We need to remove this access panel here, this access panel here, and this access panel here. Again, all are situated and all are secured with the plastic rivets, except for this access panel here is they use a little bit different rivet. It's a press rivet, and so in order to take those out, you simply depress the middle button with a punch, or if you don't have a punch, you can use a Phillips screwdriver. And then that brings those loose. That's this guy here. And that gets you access to the rear. And again, these are the standard rivets that you remove, and that allows us access into the back here. We'll take this piece out here, and that's going to give us the necessary access to install our rear footwell heat shield kit. So the rear footwell kit consists of 2 pieces. We've got 2 pre-cut pieces that will come along and slide into this area of the footwell. And so you start with the outer piece here, and again, this is peel and stick. So you just, when you're ready to go, you peel this back. Make sure the inside of this plastic is clean. So wipe it down with a cloth or soap and water. That way the adhesive sticks real good. And what we're going to do is we're going to pre-bend it a little bit. You can even, and we'll come in. And once you peel and stick the adhesive. Bring this around, put this in position, and this will stick right in here. And it's cut specifically to fold around the unique shape of the footwell. So once we have that in place, press it down well and fold it into place. It's a flexible material, so you can mold it into the shape. So for this, the back piece, again, peel and stick away, and you kind of work it down here. There's really a lot of room here, as long as you don't have gigantic hands. And you bring that in, and it'll butt right up against the other piece here. And again, we've loosened everything so it'll come apart okay. And get that lined up and fold into place, and you're all set. So we have our seat heat shield ready to go. And a couple of neat things with this product. We use a reflective material on the top, and we've sandwiched a 1/8 inch thick glass mat in the middle for insulation. And then facing in the heat side is our 10 mil dimpled aluminum facing. And so what you end up with is a shield that's flexible, but yet still holds its shape. It's very robust, and it blocks a ton of heat. So we ended up going with a two-piece design to help ease with installation. And so we'll go ahead and get started. Everything is pre-cut and ready to go. So again, because it's still flexible, it folds right into place. All the holes are pre-cut. You just mold it right into shape. And notice I am wearing gloves. Again, it's a fiberglass insulation layer, so if you have sensitive skin, definitely recommend wearing some sort of skin protection to prevent itching with that. So we've installed our small piece. We'll go ahead and install our large piece. Again, it's pretty straightforward. One thing you want to do is pull forward the seat belt, and we'll slide that through. And then it's just a matter of lining everything up. So again, really easy to work with, really easy to fold. Just kind of work it around the seat belt locks here, and push that through. So the way that this is designed, it's designed for everything to kind of fit back over the top of it. The one thing you want to do though is you want to remove this bottom piece of foam here. This insulation layer is more than enough to kill the sound and vibration as well as the heat. And you want to remove this foam so you're not putting undue pressure onto the shield against the cylinder head. So we'll go ahead and now start to do the reassembly process. And we'll start putting the shield back in place. So we've got the body panel, and we're getting ready to put the backrest back in place. And one thing we wanted to note was you want to make sure with the safety belt that there's no binding and that it's out of the way and in the original configuration. So last thing you want to do is have any issues here. So take care when you're putting the seat back in that there's no binding and that the seat belts are operating efficiently. So we've got everything remounted. We're going to go ahead and just put our seat in, and then we'll put our seat back down. We're good to go.